Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's Simple Healthy Solution. I'm Sarah Sharma, and today we're talking about ramen. So my youngest son loves ramen, but I cannot support him purchasing those individually packaged dollar store ramens due to the lack of nutritional value. So what have I found in place of them is this ramen packet, which is millet and brown rice ramen noodles made by Lotus Foods. I find this at Costco. And in the packet, they look like this right before you cook them, which is very similar to our traditional ramen that we've all grown up eating. And when you're done, it looks like this. You will prepare your ramen and then you can add your broth, which you will see. We will show you how I made the broth. My broth today has spinach, mushrooms, and shrimp. And what I typically do is just make the ramen separately because the ramen is very sensitive and delicate due to its high protein and higher fiber content. If you overcook it or if you keep it in the fluid for a very long period of time, it will start to break down and dissolve. So what we do is we serve our ramen just like so. And each of these cakes offers 8 grams of protein. And I believe it's 4 grams of fiber. And then a nice scoop of your broth and vegetables. Now, of course, you can make your broth however way you want. And then what I'm going to do is just top it with some fresh green onion. And I also like to use this because it adds a little bit more of that umami flavor that really brings all of that ramen together. So I'll just sprinkle this on top. And now you have the perfect ramen dish made from your Lotus Foods brown rice and millet ramen, better than your traditional ramen that you buy in the store, and our homemade broth. All right, I'm going to show you how I made my broth. So I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of sesame oil to my pot. And I'm just going to keep the temperature on low. I'm going to add 5 cloves of pressed garlic. So I'm just going to mix that all together. I'm not really going to brown it so much as I am just going to try to release more of the garlic flavor in the oil along with that sesame oil smell so that you get that authentic Asian flavor coming from the sesame oil and the garlic. And I'm just going to heat that up a little bit together. I don't want it to overcook and I don't want it to burn either. So we're just going to mix it a little bit and let it heat up. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of mirin, a half a tablespoon of rice vinegar, and a tablespoon of soy sauce. So this is going to give me that really authentic flavoring that we love so much for ramen. And I'm just going to let that cook for a little bit just to kind of burn off some of the alcohol from the mirin. And then I'm going to add my chicken broth. So I let that cook for about 1.5 minutes, and you can see it's kind of like sizzling a little bit, but not too much. And now I'm going to add my chicken bone broth. You know, I love using my bone broth because of that extra protein. So I'm just going to add that to my seasonings. Now I'm letting my broth come to a boil. And while it's doing that, I'm going to drop in my sliced mushrooms. Now you can add whatever veggies you have. I am doing mushrooms and spinach today because that's what I have on hand. But you could also do bok choy or carrots, cilantro, whatever veggies and herbs you like in your ramen you can add. You could add eggs if you wanted. So there's a lot of different ways to make ramen. Today, of course, we're just doing shrimp and mushrooms and spinach, keeping it pretty simple, but it's covering all of our food groups, which is really good. And remember, spinach really wilts down, so I'm just going to add it all and let it all cook together. And all I need is about 5 minutes for that shrimp to cook in the broth. So I'm just going to increase the temperature and stir that all together. And our shrimp is ready. It is now cooked to temperature. It has that pretty pink color. And we are ready to combine our broth and our ramen. The key to this ramen is following the instructions exactly as they tell you. You want to add the ramen to boiling water, and after 3 minutes, start separating it gently with a fork. I like to use these tongs so that I find it makes it a lot easier. And I literally just start separating them. Depending on what texture you like will determine how much longer you want to boil them for. I just keep separating and keep kind of feeling them around until I find the desired texture. One of the things that's really important that you'll see when we're done is that you want to run them also under cold water so they stop cooking and they don't overcook. One of the things about this ramen is that if you do overcook it or like leave it in fluid or liquid for a very long time, it does start to fall apart. You don't want that to happen. So just pay attention to the consistency you're looking for and make sure to run it under cold water in order to stop the cooking process. And now once you have plated and prepared your ramen, it is ready to go. So let's give it a try. It is really good. I think my son will be pleased. Well, that's tonight's dinner. I hope that this week you will give our ramen a try and let us know how you like it. That's this week's Simple Healthy Solution. We'll see you next time.